I've never had any trouble running the drop frame graph before. Well, I was not seeing any problems on it. Maybe just that there is other bandwidth going on with the uploads. I don't know. Oh, we're at 24. And it's possible I don't need all the redraws for that, but... Oh, you're not happy. Sample size. We copied something somewhere. Sample size. ActMap sample size. ActMap sample size. Oh, we copied this. Equals message dot sample size. Yep. Tempted to load an infinite number of tiles. What? Oh no, this is Esh. Your sample size... And I wasn't using the proper term here. Attempts to load an infinite number of tiles. Maybe Elm wasn't compiled yet. That was an Elm error. All right. Nothing else is available here. We're going to have it always on. And by standard, we'll overlap it a little bit onto this stuff. And then as you zoom in, I can just get straight up objects. And if you want it, you can go back down to here and look at the details. I don't really have any, like, subheadings, but, well, the entire format thing could use work, but... Maybe some subheadings would be good there. So that I could see being like a kind of a user preference thing. That almost makes me say, do you want to do sample size? Also as a savable option. UI for activity map visibility. So I can set up my decoder to always return the default values for this. The issue here is going to be the decoder. And maybe there's going to be some other stuff in Map UI too. Oh, and I'm still doing Map 2. This might not hold up over time. Oh, we've already got a one of. And your default value... That is 2. Because that will go 2, 4, 8, I believe. Which is not... But the integer is going to be like 1, 2, 3, 4. Persist decode. Probably have to go to streamlined format at some point here. And your default value is 24. And then map UI, this is probably save state. Yeah. Maybe I should wait on this. I don't know how often I'm going to change it. And that's one of my main drivers for savable things. So actually you're a little bit maybe of a farther thing. Default scale. So that's at 20. I guess with my full screen view, I'm sometimes able to look at all of the activity at 23. Which is only one step off from there. That's 22. And we're only going to be centered here, so you're going to have some stuff off to the side, but 2 levels up from what we're currently doing. That might be in both. Min zoom, max native zoom. Oh, no, I think we're looping. Okay. Default center. And at the map time, this is the most recent bell. Oh, and then you go in one and it switches over to actual detail, so that's fine. Wait. Oh, that went straight to 25. We got a double. Huh. Yeah, my scroll is just overactive, I guess. That's a little bit of a shame. All right, well, maybe we can do something with index files. This could be a bit of a harder thing, though. Because this is essentially a custom version of a tile layer. Which means we have to figure out where in a tile layer can we hook it to say, you don't need to ask that. Or maybe if it's even a grid layer, but Max zone. Huh. I wonder if CloudFront does the subdomain thing. Well, that's subdomain takeover. Alternate domain names. No, that's set it. Subdomain hijack. Yeah, maybe that's all taken care of the back-end stuff. That used to be for a number of concurrent connections. I don't know if that's still a thing. I don't think it's going to be initialize. Internalize grid layers, create tile. Now, so you're basically creating an image element. That's your request. So maybe it is create tile. We just create a blank tile. Source equals get tile URL. Tile on load. Tile on error, and there's the option to do the error URL thing. Get zoom for URL, get subdomain, remove tile, tile ready. Now you see, your ready tracking is based on an image. Doing its ready events and having a source attribute. Empty image URL. Go to empty GIF image to free memory from unused tiles. Okay. Abort loading. So Well, I have to do all my index loading stuff. I have to figure out, so how do I do that? So I'm probably going to have to, like, either wrap. Yeah. Oh no, get tile URL could return empty image URL. So what do I currently do with my index files? That would be on things like key placement sprite. Oh, but you just return empty data, and we can do an empty canvas. So this is one of our get tiles. And we are doing our data fetching inside create tile. So that's a little bit different. But one of our caches should let us, oh, but this is an asynchronous fetch. Or it can be asynchronous. This is trying to get the tile, which might, as a subtask, need to get the index tile. Yeah, I think tile key, maybe? Key placement key. Key index, key placements. Oh no, so tile key is a total. This is a tile index. Parse tile index. This is just any kind of tile data cache. You're only going to have one file. So I think we can reuse this with different data ranges. But it's going to be an asynchronous thing. Get data tile URL. That is going to be found there. So yeah, that it expects that to be a synchronous function, so I can't hook into the URL. So I'm probably going to have to overload the actual create tile function to make it asynchronous. So I can create an image file. I could even put the empty thing in there initially. And then update it when the time comes. But I have to do a wholesale replacement to the function. And there's some other things around handling image loading. Oh. So if I put a dummy URL in there, I guess I just don't assign the source until it's either there or it's not. Because I don't want to trigger loading with an empty URL prematurely. Okay, we are creating connectivity map layer as a tile layer. We want to create, well, where do I create custom layers? I've got a little bit of stuff set up for that. Grid layer, sparse tile layer. Is it a grid layer, tile layer, or just a tile layer? Or I guess maybe this would be even, well, tile layer, grid layer dot extend. Where do you namespace it though? Exports.tile layer, exports.grid layer. So am I going to have any default options? You got object generation options. Does that include some default layer options? No, maybe I assign the other stuff later when I'm actually creating it. Initialize set options from the past in options. You are going to have a cache. You are going to have a custom create tile function, which is going to do a little bit of that stuff. And then actually, that was it. So that's probably pretty close. Oh, it didn't fix the line ends, though. Oop. It's actually just R, right? Yeah. Is the extra bit. We've got some bad spacing. Oop. No, window close, V split. So now I might actually want to take this and go get this from someplace else. You're not doing anything special. You... Object point overlay. Probably similar-ish. Okay, so all of this stuff is fine. It was working fine before. In fact, I could... If I drop this in, everything should just work because it's the same code. Except for how I create it. Create arc activity map layer. Oh, and there's this convenience function. Am I using key placement point? I don't know if I'm going to use. So new. I need to get a different index. And it is object.assign. Oh, because you took the URL. Oh, so I need to provide that as a an additional option because a tile layer takes a URL. Oh, shoot. Do I have any other constructor stuff to worry about here? So URL, I could also put this in as options. An internal set options function, okay, so you do some other things. So I'm gonna have to remember how to call this. And you will take care of doing the set options stuff. So what do? We have to do l.tilelayer prototype. If it was the constructor, we'd get an actual object. And it's either, is it call or apply? Call is the individual arguments, which is fine. That should do the option setting for us. And then I should be able to dump this in as a drop-in. Oh, right, the cache implied the URL before. I don't know if I could use that effectively. Right, to the browser. Doing JavaScript stuff, so we're going to have lots of errors. On is, oh, they're using some internal functions. Function on, which is probably exposed nowhere, unless it's like leaflet.util.on or something. Oh, DOM event. Anything else looks suspicious here? Bind is not defined. Bind pop-up. Leaflet.util. K is not defined. Oh, that was just a. When was that a random typo? That was a while back. Hopefully we didn't lose any important important line there. Okay, so that does appear to work as a drop-in. And out here is where we'll see the missing lines. Or missing files. Actually, I should just kind of be out there so we get that when we refresh. And it doesn't like to do the same file. So layer.cache, which we assigned. And this is going to be the key index cache, which might end up, I'm not sure if it gets used differently. So let's just go ahead and do this as an extra thing for now. It's actually going to be key place. It's going to be the index data. Layer is not defined. So layer is just this. I probably don't need multiple references to this. That was in case we did something in a function. No value provided for variable time. Options.datatime. Actually, just gonna be time. Is that how we're doing this? What is my config URL look like? It is time. Oop. So I have to be giving you a time, right? Yeah, time end. Oh, but I'm not pulling out options here. That's just some random global variable it's not complaining about for some reason. Generation.place. Oh. I'm probably giving you the wrong cache because I copied that line. Yeah, key placement key. This is key placement index? Key placement index is not defined. This could just be a file ordering thing. Yeah. Key placement key. Key index cache. Guess that cache.getTile is not a function. Maybe this doesn't have a tile function? So index data cache is what uses this. Oh. So it's load tile that you're using. And I guess something else is a get tile function? Oh, and it's actually a then too. Maybe I was using a wrapper object around this for my other purposes. So this probably is data. I don't know that you needed other options. Yeah, because that was an indexed tile data cache. So tile data cache. Oh no, you're. Oh, maybe I got something else. Tile index cache, the tile data cache. But you were calling load tile on that to get our coordinates. Load tile and get tile is something higher. You're just coords data. But you return a promise. Okay, so we got probably all the same promise resolution. It should be. And then we want to know. Let's see, where is it? Index cache. Index tile data cache. Where did get tile come into this? Data chords. Cache.data. I'm going to have to reproduce that, aren't I? Let's see, where do you use that? You do use it yourself. And you depend on this .data zoom. So this probably wants to use its own zoom values. Which is just going to be like, is it capitalized or? Yeah, they are capitalized. Data zoom chords, chords.d, data zoom comes from there. Chords.x, chords.z. Data chords were used. Index tile data cache. And then we only want the x and the y for this. Data zoom we had anyway, that's not a big deal. And time is really just going to be an existence check. Okay, probably missed some caches not defined. Is that in you? No. Oh, I copied some code. Cache.data cache to be, and this is where we need, this is why we have the alias for layer. Oh, and then tile time is, I think, a global. Or no, maybe your local reference, then function tile time. Even though we don't care about the times here. Okay, so those missed. These printed later. But this is an asynchronous operation. So we missed -7, -1. Undefined. Some of these should have been defined. Oh, but you're 19, this is 20. I need to account for the zoom offset. Chords.z. We just do that in data zoom? Leaflet's going to do it for its reference. And then this, it's negative, so this is going to be plus this dot, is it zoom offset? That's part of back layer options. It is zoom offset. Nope, that's a bunch of nans. That's an option thing out of this thing. Which could be a barrel of laughs. Yep, you do not get that. Oh, so chords. And you see your get-tar URL, so if you modify chords, and then it double applies the zoom offset, oh, get zoom for URL. Zoom reverse. Plus zoom offset. So that's basically kind of what... Oh, and that's applying... Right, max zoom, zoom reverse. Max zoom minus zoom. So you're not applying the limits, though. So that's still a thing. This doesn't actually depend on chords. Okay, so we still got some nans. That's bizarre. Okay, so -6, -1 is... So for the ones we actually do have? -6, -1 goes to -3, -1. So we've got the right zoom. This is still coming up undefined. This makes me... well, I needed to fetch the right zoom for my data here. Makes me a bit worried about my data source. Oh, okay, so... We're doing that zoom And then using data chords to get our position. Is that right, or have you already done this by the time we do create tile? We obviously got past Zoom 20. We can see -7's failing. I guess what we're not seeing is which tiles succeeded. So -1, 0. -6, -1 succeeded. And that was an actual path. But it's at Zoom 90. So this is passing us the modified chords, but not the modified zoom? Oh, but here's chords.z again. So this might have to be... Get zoom for URL again. Completely ignoring the chords we passed in. Okay, so there's no nans now. -6. Oh, that's making... Well, that's applying some clamping. That's giving us the new Z. Clearly this is happening. So we got 20, we're at Zoom 20. I think Leaflet must be doing the coordinate offset, but not the zoom offset. And then the URL is doing the zoom offset. Because these are the chords. And then what data are we getting? Excuse me, sir? Oh, it's still rendering. It's a big boy. And then we closed it again. Actually, -7. Does that even make sense? Does that make any sense? That makes no sense. We're kind of far out, but... So is this a sourced... Well, what are we fetching? What are we fetching? Because I only used this for Zoom 24 before. Maybe it just kind of ignores that. No. We start doing tile data. PL24. Oh no, I'm using the same cache. It's similar, but it's not the same. Key index cache. I guess I'll kind of do you in around the same place. Arc key placement, map log cache. we start getting into a bunch of Maplog stuff. So you are 2 to 24. Ooh. What need... Key index. Yeah, I actually do need a pattern for you. It's close, but not the same. I mean, you could probably do some derived subbits. Undefined, undefined, undefined. That's not much better. These numbers might be closer, though, and this is going to be a smaller file overall. Yeah, so that seems like the wrong range of numbers. Which makes me think we fetched the wrong zoom layer. Because I gave you chords. So I think maybe the issue here is that you're giving us messed up chords. Yeah, this is basically data chords. Which means the cache is going to fetch the wrong zoom layer. Well, still undefined. But we're seeing the right range of values. Oh, it's... That might be right. Wait, no, that's something else. That's not the tile index. We're seeing only -9 and -6. Which means we might still be off a little bit. You know, I don't want to hunt through all the spam in there. Is it tile index cache? Is it tile data? We might get a lot of tile data cache hits. L.template. That's the URL. We have an easier place to hook that. Oh, there's the data chords. Okay, so the only fetch is for the 19 index. We're at zoom 19. Do I also need to be doing some coordinate translation here? Because Leaflet has been able to display these just fine with the standard I wonder if the get URL function is doing more of the translation. Get tile URL. Yeah, hey, look, there's tile bounds. There's projections. There's tile layer. Get tile. Wait, you're a sub function if you're doing tile layer get tile URL. This is what we were looking at before. So we've got Retina, get subdomain, get, and then yeah. So then this go. So it does do this after the fact. It throws out the chords it gave us. So we kind of do just want to say, so it was fetching 19. Oh, but it's this that get tile URL. You're not doing anything to the X and the Y. Am I going to have to redo all of my index files? I mean, the actual files have been working out fine. Yeah, so you pass S20, you override the zoom. So it actually doesn't matter what my chord zoom here is. -9, -6. And then like tutorials. It's like it's so close. Oh no, these are the ones that exist. The 5s and the 7s are missing. So why aren't... Oh, I missed some of them actually working. Oh, we have 2 tiles that are working. Okay. There was an update, so it fetched twice. Unfortunate. Tile data cache? Is that where I put that? All right, sparse tile. Implementation. All we're checking for is existence here. And what was that empty image URL which had been pulled in from somewhere? Oh. It's not, I thought this was an option property. Oh, it is. It is a util. This is an, yep. Hey, Rainy. Hey, no 404s. Notes. Index files. That's really close to 404 Error Street, too. Yeah, we've gone through several scales here, so that should all be. Oh, actually, I guess I should check. I'm not still doing the what some of the stuff changes. Yeah, still seems to be fine. I am trying to get this heat map layer touched up. It might be another day until I can get all the files uploaded, but they finished processing yesterday. So we need to get the UI set up to properly display them. So right now the plan is to pull back our starting view a little bit because you can actually see that there's something here if it's not all the pretty objects. And then have that go out as we go in so that you don't have all these colored blobs in when you actually are able to look down at the details. Now the way Leaflet does tile layers though is that it will just fetch, assuming you've got data for all this stuff out here. So I output a index of where I have tiles and don't have tiles so that I can skip making these useless calls. That's going to be a future work because I'm not sure what settings I want to save yet. Okay, so we're copying. I need to do the final index there once that is done. I think I've committed the update. That was just an extra window. Or did I just use an extra window? Or did I use my other window there? Home map, family trees, you're running. I guess I'd use this one. Yeah, you're all committed. So I could potentially start another branch to work on picking a better default location, although zooming out will help a little bit. But, I mean, where's our last monument? Yeah, it wouldn't help that much. I guess I have the activity map index. But it's, I don't have a good way to identify a low-level active area. I might have to do that while processing. Now, if the current situation persists and we can maintain bell towns, that won't be as big of a problem. Hmm. Unfortunately, that will be a reprocess step, but maybe I can skip at least writing out the rest of the tiles, or if I do it as part of the activity stuff. I could potentially do a database query on lives, but you still have the problem of filtering out all the tutorial stuff. I'm just kind of assuming that the main active areas will have more map activity going on than tutorial stuff. Yeah, actually, I don't want to risk touching any of this data while I'm uploading it. Do we have any other little things we can do? So we're copying, that'll be a one file copy. That's just the update. This is going to be an update. Save, I want to use it to see what we need to save. That going back to there. Server search might be a completely separate set of files that wouldn't be touched by that. Probably also too big of a project for tail end here. Output. Oh, I'm back in the front end file. Caps lock. So it might be kind of like this. I'm not even going to care about tiles. Let's see, data server, family trees. No, branch name. Right. Okay, well, don't need that. Oh no, because it would be like tile index. Yeah. Don't quite know what we want to call all this stuff yet. So I'm not going to use you. We're not going to use any tiles. I don't know what my data format's going to be yet. I'm not going to have zoom levels. Maybe it was some kind of index? And it's not going to be right tiles. It's going to be right something. You don't need any of this stuff. You're not going to get tiles. Breakpoints, I guess, will still be a thing, because this is going to have to be, well... No, if I did all objects at all times, it's going to be the same as full detail of everything. Well, so there's the question of, do we index everything in a snapshot, or do we index select objects at all times? I might just need to start getting some distribution stuff. So it's not going to be tiles, it's going to be objects. Which maybe that's going to actually be some sort of object. It's going to be indexed by ID, which could kind of fit in an array, although I guess we have the floor things. Don't care about you, don't care about you. This is a sub-collection. This was of counts. We don't need our max. Log dot. You weren't dealing with IDs at all, because you were just counting things. Not there. Tiled. Placement log is what does most of the heavy lifting. and then some more in tile set. So there's log.object map log. So there's object, and I think I have an accessor for, yeah, for the underlying ID. And the ID doesn't include usage information and stuff, which that's another interesting question. Are we indexing these by objects or by objects with uses and variations? The variations probably only matter for like cars. I forget what else that's used for. Maybe there's a few things with colors. Well, if they're colors, they actually have it in the name, so I don't know if it can be completely patterned there. And we have categories for things with colors that has some transitions. Yeah, I think it'll be, we don't need to search for car number one. The other aspect of that is floor. ID is probably fine. Value equals, that's probably for the Mac stuff. Oh, yeah. Are you a hash? That depends on, yeah, if it's a total log of rare objects, we need to track them all. And we need to have a sense of what rare is. Maybe what I need to do right now is actually do it like count, but per objects, and try to get an idea of what is what. You need to skip that. You don't have an index. This doesn't exist yet. We have yet another class of things. This is still Matlog derived data. It's not going to have anything to do with zoom levels. It would still go by server. We have PL17 and then one directory. Well, no, it's still going to be by time. And it's just not going to be by zoom. Turn everything back off. And that created you. Didn't update that name. So you're doing output. Okay, and it did absolutely nothing. We should have at least printed path. But I probably copied this with false. And method plus for hash. Oh, right, because that was buckets of counters. So you are yourself for the moment. I could just keep them all and print the... makes it harder to print. Objects. Jets. And this does match, because I completed it. Zoom. Oh. You're just not going to have zoom. And this function doesn't get called yet. Okay, I probably need to like sort this and stuff. And then like take our top objects. Oh, and I can probably throw out 0. Log duck, we need that. If it's a placement, if it's a breakpoint, span end. Now this was a very, very short period for testing purposes. It's almost an array, but it's like a sparse array. So it's kind of a hash. So would that sort, does a hash sort by hash value? Undefined for... Oh, I thought you were for array. They were hash. Wait, for 0? I thought I skipped zeros. Oh, because it's still a string. And, okay, so, but it's giving me... Nope, that was the wrong 0. Not equal to 0. And it printed nothing? Oh, maybe sort... yeah, sort by. And I just outright deleted it? I mean, what does that even mean? 116, nope. Or maybe I deleted it, which is why nothing happening. That looks like it's sorting by key. So you're probably going to be like key value, sort by value. Does that actually do anything for a, well, it did it for the other sort. It might be an array of things. All right, so that tells us what our most common object was. Oof, it's a little bit hard to read. P sorted dot take 5, and there's probably a better way to do that, but that will accomplish our purpose. Okay, a whole bunch of 1s. 155 is king. No. From the tutorials. So probably all of the most common stuff is going to be tutorial things. Well, 30 might be gooseberry bush. 34 could be gooseberry. No, 31 is gooseberry. No, it's 34 something. Sharpstone. That's going to make searching for walls useless. And among our rarest objects, of which there appear to be, well, this is a very, very, very short. This would probably be more interesting. Well, Chevalereau, that makes sense. You probably have a smaller list of rare objects. Popping corn. People probably hang on to it and eat it, usually. Also, once again, very, very early tech. I think we're going to have a very long tail of ones here. So I probably need to throw this at a current time period, which I think we've actually got here. This was not the most recent, but a fairly recent. And we're still going to be dominated by Adobe Walls. Oh, so those are papers. So I might have to filter that out. $43.14. Black ground pepper. I could, actually my object file has names in it now. I might be able to get it to the wolf crown. Huh, I wonder. That's going to be the rarest objects. How long does it even take us to get to past 1? Oh, I messed something up. A lot of 45s. Got somebody working on a car? Oh, what oil drilling rig? Then we got some papers. I probably need to hook up black plaster wall. Yeah, and it's still all 1s. So, can I get this for the entire thing so I can see it easier now? What does our cutoff look like? This is probably like tutorial stuff. Over 1,000. Yeah, I need to get this where it's just printing out the names. Because you can't really scan through this and get a sense of what objects would be included or excluded at a certain cutoff level. And I need to filter. Do I already have something for that ID thing? Not here. I might be doing that on the map display end. Because I think for this, it's just going to be paper with writing is all we really care about. Well, that's an exploration. That is going to be more of a project for next week, though. Meanwhile, I want to get some lunch. Thanks for watching. Thanks to the subscribers, voluntary and otherwise. And everybody who hosted me. Let's see if I have anything to recommend. All right, let's see. It looks like Soy Havens on One Life. I don't know if anybody else, but I did actually hear them talking. Maybe not as much as I'd like. Let's see. We've got... Let's see. Web game. We've got CUI. I think we did the Game Jam recently. Yeah, it's been a little bit since we dropped it in Dronosaur. So for Electro says, cool to hang out. Dronosaur is working on his little bubble popping game. And that's someplace cool to hang out. Thanks for hanging out with me. Goodbye, and until next time.